It is considered our greatest adversary, a hostile force that opposes and exalts itself against all things God. It is the carnal mind, unable to return to its birthplace. It is gathered in the hedges by merchandisers as briars and thorns, and have now become the subject of fire. They've been fully convinced that the water of the cross cleansed them of all unrighteousness, but without understanding, this delicate wash dealt with the body of sin only. If you attempt to brainwash, free will is removed. Only fierce fire can remove the carnal mind from man. So the Father produces a vessel of fire, called the Son of Man, and would pour out his fury into this molten image of a human measure. Isaiah 42:24 says, "They would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient to his laws. So he poured upon the vessel the fury of his anger and the strength of battle against this carnal mind, and it would set him on fire." So this red dragon of fire, the image is given to Moses by the Father in Numbers 21:8. "And the Lord said to Moses, Make to yourself a fire dragon, and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass, everyone that is bitten when he looks upon it will live." You see, this destroyer is a life giver to all that open their eyes. Those that don't become subjected to the bite of fire and will die in their slumber. Enmity can only be removed a bite at a time by fire. Romans 8:7 says, "This carnal mind cannot respond to God's laws. Neither will it ever be. It can only respond by pointing fingers." In Numbers 21, the people surfaced this enemy when they pointed the finger at God and Moses. Their intentions, they say, of delivery was to bring them to death by the desert. And remember where they received this thinking: the shadows of their mind. It was the enticement of GRED. "And the dragon sent to test me," says Eve. Adam says, "The woman you gave me makes you part to blame." So the Father instructs Moses to make the image appear in verse 9. "And Moses made the red dragon of brass and elevated it. This fire began to thin the flock to a mere remnant." This dragon of fire, the image that would appear again before John in Revelations 1:12 and 13. "I turned to see the voice that spoke to me, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a fire garment down to the feet, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle." This simply put, he girded up his loins, head to toe, torso and breast, with the garment of fire. Verse 14 defines the captain. "His head and his hair were white as wool, as white as snow." And yet nobody asked why his hair and his head were white, like snow and wool. Isaiah 1:18 answers, "Though your sins be scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red as crimson, they shall be as wool." You see, they came and reasoned together. And you will hate the process of fire, but the reward is opened eyes that receive life. Luke 21:17 through 19. "And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but there shall not be a hair on your head to perish in this patience. They will gain possession of their souls. Everyone that is bitten when he looks upon it will live." The red dragon image as a king of slaves, once lifted in desolation. Sound familiar? Now the image formed of Moses' hands, of the fire dragon comes into focus, of John's description in Revelations 1:15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace, and his voice the sound of many waters. Remember, the fire garment completely covered him, only exposing the feet of brass. The rest of the brass image remained under cover. But the voice was clear as crystal, the sound of many waters, or accompanied by many instruments, like the harp and the flute, and all kinds of music. And if you fall down from the bite, open your eyes to the image that I have made well, says the King. So when you are taken to the furnace of fire, the image of the Son of Man will appear in the flames, and by a mark you will be delivered from the fire. These are the words of King Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel 3:15. This is food that I provided to my family for years. I want to now share it with you. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.